should give it up like I just ain't good enough. I wasn't tough enough to make it through the storm, so I strive to feed my fire, doing what I desire. I'll never give it up, I'm nothing like before.
Yo. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with Drop and Jabbo. I'm Jabbo.
Yeah, I'm Drop.
That's Drop. And today we have a special guest again, Cedric Moore.
Currin-Moore.
Cedric Currin-Moore.
That's the thing. Like we go through this. We go through this all the time. Like I don't know.
Officially, it's Cedric Currin-Moore, but also
okay.
Everybody know me by Cedric Moore. So yeah.
See, I used to have a cousin. I got a cousin whose name is Cook Quillen. You know, but when I grew up, it was just Quillen. I didn't know nothing about the cook part.
Yeah.
So you know, he got married, and the wife had this whole. No, it's not Cook. It's not Quillen. It's Cook Quillen. And we actually got into it a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I've been calling the man Quillen all my life. I can't just switch it up like that. But I respect you, respect your house. I don't mean no harm. Give me the same, grace. Anyway, welcome again to Let's Talk with Drop and Jabbo. We have a guest, Cedric Currin-Moore. I'm about to call you Cook. Cedric Currin-Moore. And last episode, we left off talking about an important subject. DEI. Diversity. Equity. And inclusion. All right, I just want to make sure I got them right because I messed it up earlier. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. I believe this is a very serious thing, and it's very polarizing. And before we get into answering the question that we had in the last episode of how is this going to affect our students moving, transferring, using vouchers and tax credits and all of these political things, before we get into that, I really want to understand, because this is a federal thing, this is a corporate thing, since it's trickling down into the education system, how does that look? And does it really affect us at all? That's my question.
So diversity, equity, and inclusion. We would want all classrooms, all schools to have a form of diversity. We would want to have all classrooms to have a form of diversity. We would want equity throughout the school systems throughout the United States. And we want to include everybody, no matter race, religion, ability, physical abilities. It can be very difficult. It could be a difficult thing to make sure everybody is feeling included, and there is inclusion with everybody that's in your classroom. Sometimes you might not have the knowledge or the expertise in a certain area to where someone that's outside of your race or your culture, where you can make them feel like they belong. One of the things that I tell students, we just ended February, and so Black History Month, and I told them it doesn't mean that February 28th is here, and you stop being black and you stop learning about your people. You're black, you're African American 365, you're black 365. It's the same way if I'm Hispanic or Latino, if I'm Asian. You learn about your people and the contributions they have made to society or to a country, no matter what.
So is DEI going to permeate into the curriculum, or is it just something that is more of a cultural thing? Is it more of a social type of?
So, I think what we're talking about is DEI and that buzzword, and it's another one of those buzzwords. It's to me, it's all about semantics. You know, understanding what how a word is used and what the true meaning is behind it. Because they here in Oklahoma took out the word diversity and put different in there. Different, equity, and inclusion. I think that's what they proposed, or that's what the state superintendent has proposed. Now, to me, different and diversity are not synonymous with one another. They're totally different. I mean, they're only polar opposites. Yes, we're all different. And we should respect that, and maybe that's what he's trying to do, just trying to break it down. And but I hope he explains it some more. So
yeah, because different.
No, go ahead.
Because, like you said, we're already different, right? And that's why I brought up that question, because when you say diversity, are we going to make the curriculum diverse, or are we just going to kind of like when they do what they do police officers, when they do cultural sensitivity and stuff like that, they got to go to the training? Or are we just trying to create a environment that's accepting of diversity, or both? I don't know. It could be both.
what do you
Let
think?
me tell you what I deal with a lot from the motivational speaker side. So we get paid to come and speak about diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's an actual topic that schools pay us to come talk about. Now, from my experience on that side, it has nothing to do with curriculum. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, when I use my talk, it's the same thing like in the military called and in jobs is called equal opportunity.
Yes.
It's the same exact thing like that. So by law, you have to have equal opportunity in jobs. That is the law.
Yes. Yeah.
Now,
No matter what. The person's
if you have a
color,
business,
religion, physical ability, yes.
because you have an equal opportunity. I used to be the equal opportunity officer for the 95th Training Division in the military. And I had to go and learn all these things. And equal opportunity is more than just somebody have a complaint about being sexually harassed, because that's a part of equal opportunity too. And somebody has a complaint about all this stuff, but it's also for every month I had to get my board ready and make it look like whatever that month was representing. So if it was National Hispanic Month, I had to make sure that we in the military was doing National Hispanic Month. If it was national, I think this month is National Women's Month. You got to do all this stuff about women
history. Yes,
So that's what that is. And when they bring me in to speak, they basically are saying this: we have a lot of people who's different in schools as far as students, mainly students.
They're experiencing that exposure.
They're experiencing, and they are confused about how they should respect diversity, respect equity, and respect inclusion. The inclusion part is just being honest. That's the part that most people here in Oklahoma don't like. They just don't want to admit it. Because the inclusion part, that's where you have to admit that you have to treat someone who's bisexual or gay the same way you would someone that's straight.
They should be included in everything.
They should be included in everything you do. You have to allow black people to do the same thing as a Native American. You have to allow all of these things. Now, there is a back channel from this. you can say in your school, you know, I'm not going to do this. Now, the teachers can't. The staff can't because that's law, equal opportunity law. But you can do it. But you can't take no federal dollars.
That's it. Yeah.
Because it is the law in the federal government. The law in the federal government is that you have to do diversity, equity, and inclusion. So, if you are a school and you planning on, hey, I'm not going to do this diversity, that's why he's not going to be able to change the name. That's not going to fly because it's the federal government. If Congress doesn't change it, you ain't nobody changing it. Mm-hmm. So therefore, it's not really curriculum. It's really culture around the schools.
Or politics. Is this just a way for the Democrats to come into our school and come in to take over and run the Democratic narrative of just let everything and anybody in liberalism, and this is their way of sneaking that in there?
No. I believe it didn't come from parties. It just came from people who don't like gays. That's the whole mission. Mm. They don't want their kids to be around people that's gay. That's it. And they want to stop it. There's no way to stop that. The only way you're going to be able to stop your kid from being around someone who's gay is you got to homeschool your kid. That's it.
Okay.
You're going to have to homeschool your kid. If you take your kid and put them in public, private, charter, I don't care which one, they're going to be around kids that's not gay.
Now you're saying the parents may feel like that. What about the teachers?
Teachers don't feel that way. Mm. The teachers are going to teach the kids no matter who you put in their classroom. Now, teachers have a belief. Mm-hmm. I know a teacher who don't believe that kids should be gay. Mm-hmm. But most of his class members are gay. Mm-hmm. He still teach them.
Okay.
Even though he don't believe in that. He don't believe in it. But he got to teach them. Yeah. They still kids.
I think as teachers, we accept whoever comes into our classroom, and our mission is to educate them.
Okay.
Now,
where's the rub at?
Well, so let's say, okay, I'll once again, this is something I experienced back when I was first started teaching. And it was a young African American male came to me and asked me why another teacher could not relate to him. He was like, he was once my age. Mm-hmm. So why is it that he can't understand what I'm going through or what I'm feeling? I said, yes, that is true. He was once your age. But he didn't have the same experiences and wasn't exposed to the same things that you are exposed to now, back then when he was growing up.
Right.
This young man, the things that he was going through and the things that he was experiencing, I didn't even experience until I became grown. And I said, I can relate to you because I didn't personally experience the things that you're going through, but I've known other people that have.
Yeah.
And I said, and he's of a different race. I said, I'm the same race, but what you are going through and what you're dealing with, I didn't have to deal with when I was a kid because it wasn't around.
Right.
So that teacher just, we sat down and we talked, and he told the child, he's like, I don't understand what it is that you're going through, but my job as a teacher is to educate you to help you make better decisions.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm being devil's advocate. Right?
Okay. Yes.
So you guys are telling me, as soon as a kid steps over that door into the classroom, racism stops, ageism stops, colorism stops, genderism stops. Is that what you guys telling me?
No.
We all gonna have
I'm not
our
saying
biases.
this. I don't. I'm not gonna say it stops. I'm just saying once it's time to teach, yeah, the teacher still might have that. Some teachers, they still might have that thought, but they're not gonna show it while teaching. Number one, because
And if
you don't want to lose your job.
you don't want to lose your job. And if you are there truly for the love
Right.
of educating and teaching,
It's not gonna.
it's not. Yeah.
Now you
It shouldn't get in.
and you see some teachers might have that problem, but they're not there very long because they realize they can't. This is not something I can do. They just leave.
Will DEI help the teachers?
DEI help everybody
Yes.
because it's a mindset that you have to learn. It's more of a culture. It's
culture.
It's
It's a
more
culture.
of I am trying to teach you about. Here's the difference.
It's a paradigm shift.
It's a
that you have to go
I am trying to teach you that there are more people than just this.
through. Yes.
See, for black folks, and we'll go there. For black folks, it's important for black folks to understand. If you are saying I respect DEI, well, that mean you respect to teach about white people, and you respect teaching about Native Americans. You want to be able to do something for a different race than you are, and that's important
Or just
because that's diversity.
A person that's just different from you. Period.
Period.
A person that might have some sort of handicap.
Right.
Because handicap has a lot to go.
Because handicap.
That's a big part of this.
That's why I said it will never change because it's the law. Because if you change it, then immediately you can quit letting handicaps be with the other students. See, as soon as you knock the DEI out, it knocks out all that.
Because handicap is different than special ed.
Yes.
That's a whole different deal there.
Yes.
Special ed is an education.
Handicap has to have exactly every single accommodation that everybody else has.
So if your bathroom is not accessible for handicaps,
Yes.
you will get shut down.
Yeah.
I don't care if you don't have a handicap parking area, they're gonna shut you down.
The way that they can
And see, that's all a part of.
What DEI is.
We just
That's an easy way to explain it.
somebody just named it.
Right. That's an easy.
Now I thought it was just a speaking term because that's when I first learned about it. It was a topic because when I go do speaking, it's a topic that everybody wants. They say, "Can you speak on mental health?" Yes. Can you speak on diversity, equity, and inclusion? Yes. Because they want a lot of us black people to speak on diversity, equity, and inclusion, but we're not speaking on it in black schools.
No.
We're speaking on it in white schools because they want their white kids, they want their white staff, everybody that's white to understand the difference between and to understand and have compassion for someone different, someone.
Understanding
No,
that,
I guess that's how you say it.
you have stereotypes out there that are not true.
Right.
You know, a lot of times if you would communicate with the person, you would find out that you have more in common than you do differences. It's funny because I think back to when I was in high school, and we had just this one young man that was on the football team.
Yeah.
And he was the only Caucasian guy on the football team, and him and I had a problem with I grew up rodeoing, and I have family members that rodeo and that are cowboys.
Me too.
Yeah, and so he just had the disbelief of black people.
You being able to
to
have
be
been
a
part of that
cowboy,
culture.
and being a part of that culture. And you know, I educated him on that.
Yeah.
We had books in the library that
Yeah.
talked about it, and then he actually met and worked with a gentleman that was African American that owned bulls and that stocked rodeos for them.
Huh.
And so, you know, we became good friends after that.
Right.
Yeah, because we had this in common, that we were both cowboys.
That's a big thing, that we fear what we don't know.
Yes.
So that's why I think, like I said, this could be a very good thing. Just if it would just educate everybody on everybody's culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because there's so many, like, I mean, we could be scared or apprehensive to speak with somebody that's Asian, Japanese.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Like, even us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not knowing really their culture and what they, you know, and we don't want to offend them or something like that. Especially say you got an Asian family, and
Because
you
you
they
don't,
got older
you
brothers
don't,
and
you don't
fathers.
know what's offensive.
Yeah.
You don't know
unless you learn about it.
and you have to be willing and open to learning.
To learn it, because you're gonna be learning on the job.
You're gonna be learning on the job. So I recently had a student that celebrated Hanukkah.
Okay.
You know, I told her I didn't know anything about Hanukkah, and so she wanted to make dreidels. She wanted the other students to make dreidels. We were making Christmas ornaments.
I don't know what a dreidel is.
And I was the same way.
Okay.
So
You gonna help us out?
it's hard to explain.
Okay, well, we just roll with it.
But
Look up dreidels.
Yeah, look up dreidels. And so I told her, I said, I don't know anything about Hanukkah. I said, but I am going to look it up. And she's like, you know what? I can teach everybody about it. And so I said, okay. But I told her I still had to look it up. I said, I still got to look it up to make sure everything was cool. And I did. And Hanukkah's a lot different than Christmas. But I also then, if I did that for her, I had to then
That's right. Yep.
be willing and to learn about Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
And I had a student say, well, if we're going to learn about Hanukkah, can we learn about Kwanzaa? And I said, yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now, what happens when that other person say, well, we celebrate, in my country, we celebrate voodoo.
Hey,
Are we going, you know, are you going to get kicked out of school now? You know, because, you know, that's something that's frowned upon? Or, you know?
There are...
Or are we doing away with the frowned upon? We saying culture is culture is culture.
Okay, so...
Because there are some outskirt, I know I keep cutting down, because there are some outskirt, I'm trying to think of the word.
Okay,
Maybe
so
help me out. Help me out.
I'm learning about another culture or another topic. I'm in the seat of a facilitator. You know, so I have to go in and if I'm going to allow this child to teach other classmates about this, about her culture, or about his or her culture, then I have to go and do the research and then be like, hey, this part right here, you know, we might want to leave out because they might not be age appropriate.
Okay.
Or it might be. I once one time I asked my students, and this was when I taught second grade. I asked my students, I said, I want you to bring a book from home that your parents or your guardian has read to you.
You get no books.
No. No. And this is funny because we talked about this. This is when I had grandparents. No, this is when I had grandparents raising a lot of my students when I first started.
Okay.
And I talked about the difference between, you know, when I first started, the first 7 years compared to the last ones. So the book that I got brought to school, was the Bible. It was the Bible.
Wow.
So I went and I told my principal, I said, hey, a lot of I asked the kids to bring a book from home that was read to them, and a lot of them brought the Bible. He said, okay. He said, you're using it as a literary tool, right? A literary piece. Bible has stories, poems, things like that in it. I said, yeah. He said, you're not teaching religion, are you? I said, no.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I took basic Christian beliefs and some other Bible classes at my college, and I don't quite have a minor in it, but I do feel like I have the knowledge to teach some things from the Bible.
Okay.
But I wasn't teaching religion. We just used it simply as a literary tool or a literary piece, like any other book.
Okay.
Right.
And you should be able to do that.
Yeah. We took Psalms and we read, we took.
Okay, so not only did you tell them to bring the book, once they brought the book, you did an activity with them.
And we read it
based
and
off
we
that book.
answered questions just like if we was reading any other book.
Okay.
If we was reading any other old book.
And nobody was offended.
No one was offended. Parents knew about it, and no one was offended.
Okay. Well,
like we was
good.
reading
That's
Shakespeare or
good.
anything else.
Yeah.
Dante, what was that one we used to have to read? Dante's Inferno,
or
anything like that.
That is it for this episode. Hey, we hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. If you did, please do us a favor and hit the like button and share with somebody else. And if you want notifications when our episodes or monthly live podcasts publish, then you gotta go to the website, subscribe. Do that now so that nothing gets missed by accident. Thanks again and for supporting us.
I'm as tough as you made me, but you never